guys? My name is Brandon and welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find the latest album reviews, you can find our band interviews, and you can find live video of the concerts that we get. That has been kind of coming to a close for a little bit of time. Really haven't been trying to go to too many shows. I might go to a local show this Sunday, depending upon, whether I'm feeling it in the weather and such. But they were both bands that I have done interviews with, so I'd certainly like to go, but we'll see how things pan out. If you enjoy what I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as make sure to hit that like button. It really does help out a lot, and thank you guys for your support. Before I get into the interview, I want to say that we just opened our new web store. It's at spreadshirt.com / audioaddictionmedia. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description, so if you would like to purchase an Audio Addiction shirt or hoodie, definitely go check that out. It's much appreciated, and thank you guys so much. But tonight, without further ado, tonight we're going to be talking about Palisades' self-titled record. So, for those of you who have not heard of Palisades, they have been around for quite some time. I've been following them since Marilyn is Dead. That's the band they used to be in, and then obviously they moved on to Palisades, which they are now. But they're a New Jersey band. I am also from New Jersey, so I figured gotta give these boys a shout out. Really dug Outcast as probably like one of my favorite kind of electronic core sort of albums. It's definitely up there. And Mind Games wasn't too bad. I really enjoyed it. However, I really dug the combination of just heaviness, the Lou's clean vocals and screams. I think he just really kind of nailed it on the head on that album. So I was kind of skeptical in terms of how I felt about this album. They did release 2 singles, one being Fall and the second being Aggression. They were both totally different songs on the spectrum, so I didn't know what to expect. When I heard Fall, I thought maybe it was going to be a lighter record. They were going to go kind of more of a rock direction, which I was completely fine with. And then they also released Aggressive, which is a little bit more heavier, and it's a little bit more obviously quote-unquote aggressive. So I thought maybe, oh, they're going back to their roots, they're going back to heavy. So I was really kind of just thrown all over the place and didn't know what to think about the record, but we're going to get right into it. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, Aggression is the first track off the record. It definitely has this very much of a Bring Me the Horizon vibe to it, especially That's the Spirit and like Sempiternal sort of vibe to it. It definitely has that nice mix of electronics and heavy guitars and loose screaming and stuff like that. I also like that they had Brandon. He's really awesome as well. He used to be an Assailant, and I dug him even before that. He used to do covers on YouTube, and now he's in Palisades, which is really great. So props to you, Brandon. You're awesome. Cool name too, of course. But yeah, I really enjoyed this track. I definitely thought they were gonna go into a heavier route throughout this record, but as I get into the tracks, you'll get more of an idea of what they're going for. So the second track is called Cold Heart, Warm Blood. This one primarily features a lot of Brandon's clean vocals, and Lou does more of that kind of scream, sort of yell sort of thing that Ollie Sykes is very known for now. And ironically enough, it kind of reminds me, especially during the chorus, especially when Lou does his kind of scream yell sort of a thing, definitely reminds me a lot of Throne, where they kind of manipulate the scream by like shifting it up and, well, not up and down, but shifting it. And I really enjoyed this track. I thought, again, they were going to kind of go in a heavier route. It definitely has more of a hard rock sort of route, with a lot of electronic flair, not too much to be in the face of the whole album. I think they very much toned it down from the last record, Mind Games. I think Mind Games, it was just a little bit too much and a little bit too much in your face, or in your ears. But I mean, I dug it nonetheless. However, I feel like they could have just toned it down a little bit, and it could have been more of a accent piece rather than just in the forefront. So I really think they nailed it on this track. I definitely love Brandon's voice. He does an amazing job. I couldn't expect anything less from him. So I really enjoy this one. This one's actually one of my favorite tracks off the record. This has got this sort of I love how they kind of incorporate top 40s and like kind of pop sort of um structures and just the format and just how the melodies work and stuff like that. I really think they obviously spent a lot of time on it, and it shows, especially in this track. So I definitely enjoyed Cold Heart, Warm Blood. So we'll move on to the third track. I was gonna say second, third track, Better Chemicals. I also thought this was a great track. This was kind of more of a mellowy sort of track. I would say that there's only a few tracks off this record that are heavy, quote unquote. But I really enjoy the kind of hard rock, sort of rock, like rock electronic vibes that they're going for. Better Chemicals definitely has this sort of, in my opinion, the UK band Young Guns sort of sound, where it's more hard rock, kind of rock based sounds. Not a lot of screams, definitely more clean vocals and just kind of accent pieces with the electronics. I think that's a reoccurring theme throughout this whole record, is just that electronic sort of presence, and it's not overbearing, and I don't think it ever becomes overbearing. I think it's very subtle, but in some parts you can really pick it out, and it really kind of accents the whole track. So I really enjoyed that. I would definitely say that it is a good track, but it's not one of my favorites off this record. So we'll move in to track number 4, which is Fall, which is the first track that I checked out from them from this new record. I actually didn't think it was going to be a part of the new record. I just figured it was just going to be a one-off kind of single, but they actually put it on the record, and I think they tuned it up a little bit. I think they definitely changed things since the single that they released, and then this single that they just, or not, obviously the single on the record, were a little bit different. So I really enjoyed it. I loved, again, the electronic kind of elements to it. Almost has kind of a Bieber sort of vibe to it, especially the newer Bieber stuff. But I like, again, how they incorporate that top 40s kind of pop sound to what they have. I think that's definitely the direction that they're going in, and it's cool to see different bands take on different kind of genres and stuff like that. I think, that's what makes these guys diverse, and people can skew it however they want, but I think it makes them different, something that's like a little bit more eye-catching than the atypical, hard rock band or the whatever. I think they really kind of have these sort of elements that make them different and stand out. So I think this is a great track. However, I think there are definitely better tracks on this record. So we'll move on to track number 5, which is Let Down. I also enjoyed this one a lot. I think it's another great sort of rock sort of track. I would definitely say it's one of my favorites. I think the coolest thing about this record is just the melodies and the overall catchiness of the record. I honestly didn't feel like I was gonna like it, only because when I heard the singles, I was getting kind of mixed signals. Like, is it going to be heavy? Is it going to be more rock based? And I like that they kind of found a happy medium where it does have electronic elements, but it's still kind of rock flavored, but it's not like, metalcore. And there are there are a few tracks on this record that are more metalcore based. So I think they kind of, in terms of agreeing with what people want and seeing what people wanted, I think they kind of met people in the middle, in terms of there are a few tracks that are heavy, and then there are some tracks that are lighter, and then there's some tracks that fall in that gray area in between that light stuff and the heavier stuff. So I really think they did a great job on this one. I just love the play of Lou's vocals with Brandon's vocals. I think that was just probably one of the best pickups of this year, or this past year. I know he's been in the band for some time, but I mean, I like that, just hearing them two together. I think they really do make a really good kind of vocal pair together. So we'll move on to track number 6, which is Dark. I would definitely say this track took me by surprise the most. I think it has that Weekend sort of R&B sort of feel, but I dig the hell out of it. I know Issues smashed it last year with Headspace in terms of R&B and metalcore, and obviously that cannot be topped. I still listen to that every single day. It's such a jam. But getting back to Palisades, I really like that they incorporated kind of like R&B sort of soul vibes. It's something that I don't wouldn't typically expect them to do, but they did a really awesome job of just again at incorporating more aspects of top 40s R&B soul things that they like to listen to, and just really kind of melds well into what they were trying to go for. And I would definitely say Dark is my favorite out of all the tracks off the record, without a doubt. I think if I could only listen to one track throughout this whole album, it'd definitely be Dark. Again, it has those sort of R&B soul vibes, reminiscent of Johnny Craig, reminiscent of Tyler Carter, and stuff like that. So definitely, I enjoy this one the most. Brandon's vocals and Lou's vocals were on point on this one. Again, I like the play off of those two, and then instrumentally, I think it was the most solid. I think the electronics kind of took more of the lead on this track, but I was completely fine with it because it was more R&B kind of soul vibes. So definitely my favorite track off the record. So we'll move on to track number 7, which is Through Hell. I would definitely say, without a doubt, this and Aggression are probably the heaviest two tracks. And I would probably even be safe to assume that Through Hell is the heaviest track off this record. It's just got this really fast, kind of metalcore riff that you would expect, from this band, especially during the Outcast sort of days. It's definitely got this Mice and Men sort of feel, more, hard rock, kind of like in your face aggression. So I really enjoyed this one as well. I definitely wouldn't consider it to be one of my favorites, but I did enjoy it. I think if you wanted a track to pump you up, this is definitely one to pump you up. The electronic elements kind of take a back seat on this track, and it's more about the guitars and the drums and the bass and all that stuff. It's more of a fast-paced kind of rhythmically sort of instrumental. So I really enjoyed that one. We'll move on to track number 8, which is Memories. I thought this one was okay. I thought it was a decent track. The melodies remind me a lot of an Our Last Night track. I can't remember which one it is, but when I was listening to Memories, and I've listened to this album quite a few times, it was just ringing in my head like, this is like an, Our Last Night sort of, melody and stuff like that, which is completely fine. But, I was just getting those Our Last Night sort of memories, no pun intended, in this track. And I think, again, it was a solid track. However, I probably put it on the lower tier of the tracks that I dug on this album. So, moving on to track number 9, which is Hard Feelings. I would definitely say this is another one of my favorite tracks. It's got sort of this dancey sort of rhythmic vibe to it. Very much like Dark, but more rock-based, and still has that kind of like soul kind of feeling to it, which is great. I think if they definitely went in the direction of like Dark and Hard Feelings and like Dancing with Demons, I think on their next record, I think I would definitely subscribe to what they're doing. Not saying that I don't now, but I would even more so. So Hard Feelings, it's got great melodies. I think this track really shows Lou's skill. Just the melodies pair very well with the whole track in general. I think this one and Dark were probably the most solid sort of tracks, rhythmically, sonically, stuff like that. I definitely feel like Hard Feelings is another one of my favorites without a doubt. We'll move on to track number 10, which is Dancing with Demons. I would also say the same sort of feelings about Hard Feelings. It just rhythmically, it's really great. It just got this sort of poppy sort of infectiousness to it. I think that those 3 tracks, Dark, Hard Feelings, and Dancing with Demons, have like the catchiest melodies, and you're gonna wind up humming them, whistling them, whatever. I think they really kind of killed those 3 tracks without a doubt. It's just those really nice melodies. I think Brandon does a great job as well. Just backing it up with Lou. And then lastly, we'll move into Personal. I also feel like this one was a great one as well. I think it's a great way to end out the record. I think it's a strong track to kind of end it out with, and I like how it flows very well into Aggression. But I would definitely say this is a really spot-on record. My pros and cons for it would be that I feel like they really hit they really found a nice match between electronic parts, guitar parts, all the instrumentals, the layering, all that stuff. I really feel like they've found their home in terms of that. I know I would say I would love some more heavier tracks. However, that's not always the case, and I feel like considering this album, I feel like they're going more in sort of like hard rock. If they were gonna do like heavier tracks, they were definitely gonna go into that hard rock sort of vibes without a doubt. And I think they will go more of that like R&B's, top 40s, soul, stuff like that. I feel like they would definitely be going in that direction because a lot of these tracks are most likely like that, but more on a rock basis. I feel like if they took the soul and R&B sort of side and they mixed it with rock or the rock that they're doing, I feel like that would just be a winning formula for them. And some cons, I would definitely say I would like to see Brandon and Lou play off a little bit more. I know this is their first album together, and they have a lot of chemistry to build, but I feel like that would be a great selling point, another great selling point for the next record, to do better, at least in my opinion. I do think they did a great job on this one. However, I would definitely love some more like back and forth, almost like Trevor and damn it, what's his name, Matt, from Our Last Night. I feel like they just have that perfect balance. Obviously, they're brothers, but I think they have that perfect balance between just singing, screaming, all that stuff, and just melodies. So I'm excited to see what these guys do next. My overall rating for this record, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. I definitely feel like you guys should go check it out if you get the chance to. This one definitely took me by surprise. I didn't think that it was going to be that great just based off of the singles, but that goes to show, don't base an album just off the singles. Sometimes they can be really great albums, and they could have put out the shittiest singles, and the album could have been great. So, I don't know if that's Rise's fault or not, but I think definitely give this album a listen or a spin at least once. I think it's just something that's, again, different, has different vibes to it and stuff like that, which I enjoy. So, and also they're from New Jersey, so I gotta rep the home state. So, if you enjoy Palisades, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on the record. Definitely would like to know. I think they did a really spot-on job, so I'm excited to see what these guys do. I know they're going on tour with Lacey Sturm from Flyleaf or Ex-Flyleaf. That's really awesome. And let me know what your thoughts are on the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on the album in the comment section below. I can speak English, but thanks, guys, for checking out the review. Definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy what I do. I hope to be doing more. I'm hoping to get the Vesta Collide one out tomorrow. I'm getting this one out tomorrow or today. You'll be getting it out today. And maybe another one. I'm not entirely sure, but definitely those two for sure. I'm going to try to get those out tomorrow. So thank you guys for checking out my review. My name is Brandon, and welcome to Audio Addiction. We'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.